Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new episode of Blureel Studios. This is the fourth one I'm shooting back to back, and this might be my favorite one already because I get to talk about a 4K Steelbook collection I've been wanting to talk about for some time because this was postponed several times. I got a mail from Zavi that it was going to get, delivered late, and then it got pushed back even further. And I was just patiently waiting for this Steelbook set to arrive, and now I finally get to talk about it in the brand new episode of Blureel Studios. Roll the intro! Ladies and gentlemen, feast your eyes on Jurassic World, the Ultimate Collection. Look at how magnificent this box is. This is the top. This is one of the sides, the logo. Oh, the logo. And this is the inside. 6 gorgeous steelbooks. We'll talk about all of them. First up, obviously, the film that started off this beautiful franchise, a film directed by Steven Spielberg. It is Jurassic Park from 1993. This film turns 30 years old next year. 30 years old. I was 2, not even 2, when this film was released in theaters in 1993. I could barely walk, could barely talk, and this film was already in theaters when I was not even 2 years old. Crazy. The steelbook looks beautiful. I love the coloring. The yellow or gold, whatever you want to say, is beautiful. On the backs we have the Tyrannosaurus silhouette, which is fitting because he's one of the most iconic characters in that first film. Not only does he ruin the day, he saves the day at the end. Beautiful first steelbook. Let's dive into the next one. Up next, in 1997, we got The Lost World Jurassic Park, a film that is criminally underrated in my opinion. That the film has plot holes, it has issues, but goddamn it, is it a fantastic film. And the steelbook is beautiful. Same design basically as the first one. The color palette is different, and on the back we have the Stegosaurus, which featured in one of the most iconic sequences in the franchise. Again, this film I think is criminally underrated. I think it's fantastic. I think it's a just well-crafted sequel because Steven Spielberg wasn't content with just making the same movie but bigger or better. He just tried to do something completely different, and it paid off in my opinion. I think The Lost World Jurassic Park is fantastic. I have fond memories to watching it in the theaters with my parents, my cousin, my aunt and uncle, my godfather basically. And I will never forget my mom and my aunt, who are best friends by the way, laughing hysterically when the guy gets trampled by a Tyrannosaurus. And I remember being like, why are you laughing? This is crazy. This is disturbing. This guy's getting trampled by a Tyrannosaurus. It's so cool. It's not funny. It's cool. I was 6 at the time. And if I watch that moment now, I still think it's cool, but I laugh because I think back to my mom and my aunt. The final act of the film hinges on a plot hole that it's hard to just glare through. I know that, I realize that, but god damn it, is it well directed. And that entire siege of San Diego by the Tyrannosaurus, it's fucking phenomenal. It's so great. It's what we want to see from these movies. It's something that they kind of lose with sequels. That kind of sense of scope and excitement, putting this dinosaur, this animal in an environment where he's not accustomed to be. And with all the fucking craziness that ensues. Roland is in this film, one of the greatest characters in any Jurassic Park film to date. And it's easy to call Roland a villain, as many people do, and in some way, shape or form he is. But Roland has one of the greatest character arcs in any of these movies. His goal is to capture, or at least to get to hunt a male Tyrannosaurus, a buck. And in doing so, he is obsessed with this and he loses sight of what is most important. And at the end of the road, He gets what he thought he wanted, but it's all for none, you know, it's all for nothing. And at the end, it's not fulfilled because his best friend, AJ, is dead. And then he just walks out of the film. And it's beautiful. It's a fantastic character arc. It's a fantastic moment. Fantastically portrayed as well. By Pennyworth, I think is the actor's name is, who sadly has passed away a couple of years ago. Wonderful character, wonderful moment. I think this film deserves so much more credit than it gets. There are some stupid moments, like the gymnast scene obviously gets called on a lot. I love this film. I think it's underrated. It has a beautiful score as well, which is so distinct from the first one. You know by listening to the film you're watching the second one and not the first one. And I think that's fantastic. The Lost World Jurassic Park gets too much shit, in my opinion. It's a fantastic film, fantastic sequel. Yes, it has issues. It's not as good as the first one, but it tried to be something different, and it succeeded in being different, and yet still feel like Jurassic Park, which future films, unfortunately, lose sight of. Jurassic Park 3 is up next. Beautiful Blu-ray, beautiful Steelbook. On the back we have the pterodactyl. I'm guessing that that's the bird in the film. Yeah, Jurassic Park 3 is a weird little one. It's the ugly duckling of the original trilogy, and in retrospect is so much better than people give it credit for, given where the franchise has gone to next. It introduced a new antagonist in the Spinosaurus, which was awesome, scary, very, very dangerous, and it has some iconic moments in there as well. I even know the jingle from the phone, like the satellite phone. I even know that by heart. I'll sing it to you now. And the fact that I know that jingle by heart after all these years showcases that this film is a lot more memorable than people give it credit for. Velociraptors in this film still felt scary, they felt crazy intelligent, they were ruthless, and then they showcased that they even, you know, the social aspect of these animals is even there. The fact that they want their eggs back feels fitting for this universe. There are stupid moments in this film as well, like the batteries and the camera, and then of course the echo chamber, like the resonance chamber, and then Alan Grant blows on it, and it, man, I don't like that. And but what I will say about this film, what this film succeeds in, and something that a sequel, in particular sequel, doesn't succeed in, is that Alan Grant still feels like Alan Grant. That opening sequence with Ellie Sattler is unfortunate that they actually broke up, and it kind of goes against the story arc of Jurassic Park, but they still feel like Ellie Sattler and Alan Grant, the way they interact, the way they're fascinated by dinosaurs, and the way Alan Grant talks to Charlie. I even know the kid's name, Charlie! He's trying to explain to a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old the difference between herbivores and carnivores. That's so Alan Grant, and that's fantastic. The Steelbook looks beautiful. I love this edition. The coloring is absolutely gorgeous. I love the fact that they're all just like the same kind of design. Wonderful film in its own right. It's only 90 minutes. It's a short and sweet Jurassic Park film that still feels like Jurassic Park. Up next, we have Jurassic World with the blue cover, which is fitting because they introduce one of the heroes of the franchise in the Velociraptor, Blue. Not a fan. Not a fan. I used to love this movie. I used to love Jurassic World with a passion. Probably because I was so hungry to go back to this world. I love these movies. I love all the first three. I love all of them, even though I can recognize that they kind of dip in quality every single time. Like Lost World, I still think is great and underrated, but not as good as Jurassic Park. And Jurassic Park 3, I still think is a lot of fun, but not as good as the first two. But it's from this point on, the series goes into a direction I don't want it to go. I still like this film. I don't love it anymore as much as I used to. I like it still, not just because of, you know, it kind of dipped in appreciation for me, not just because of the fact that it set the franchise in a course I didn't want it to go, but also you tend to notice things second time around. You tend to notice lost potential or missed potential. But I still think this film is solid. It's still a well-made movie. It still has a lot of fun moments, and the ending is fantastic. What I don't like about the film is how they handle the raptors. The idea of domesticating them, or to at least train them, I don't like that idea. I in fact hate that idea. Because what the first 3 films successfully establish is the ferociousness of these creatures. The velociraptors are arguably more dangerous than the Tyrannosauruses because they're faster, they're more intelligent, and they are absolutely vicious, especially in the first 2 films. And I love that about the velociraptors. They are a very effective antagonist in the first 3 films. And then with Jurassic World, they go in a direction I don't want them to go, and to make these creatures like a dog, you know, like a cool, badass dog, which you can train and just have fight for you. And I'm like, no, that's not what you want to do with these animals, because they are meant to be scary. And we see, which we'll get to, that not paying off in the last film. So you have a dumb idea. But how do they execute that dumb idea in this film? Well, fairly well. I will say, if you're gonna execute that idea in a film, this is the best way to go about it. Showcasing that Owen Grady has the bare minimum of control over these animals. Which is showcased in a scene I actually like, where a guy falls into the cage, Owen Grady locks himself into the cage with him, holds them at bay with the Force. This thing, which I liked in the first Jurassic World, and then they just kind of ruin it in Dominion. Like this is actually a thing. This is like the Force or something, which we'll get to. But if you're gonna do that idea, they actually do it fairly well. Owen Grady has the bare minimum of control, and we even see that once they put this idea into practice to hunt down the Indominus Rex, it backfires almost immediately, which is the way to go, and showcases that even they know this idea is stupid. So I was kind of like, okay, there's hope for the future. They try this idea, they showcase how stupid this idea is, and now that's done, right? That's done, right? It's done. They're not gonna bring that idea back in the sequel at all. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is a gigantic disappointment. I don't like this movie, and I wish I did. We have the Indoraptor on the back, you know, the dinosaur that smiles and winks at the camera. You know that one? Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is disappointing as hell. I don't like this movie. I rewatched it recently, or tried to rewatch it, and I couldn't put myself through it. But it's a Jurassic World film, or a Jurassic Park film, and therefore I have to own it. I like the detail on the logo where it shows some cracks where, for instance, Jurassic World doesn't, you know, because the marketing for this film was heavily relying on the volcano exploding, which they leave halfway through the film to go to a manor and make a horror film. Oh my god, this movie is so terrible. And then we have the auction scene, which builds on the dumbest idea of Jurassic World. Militarizing the dinosaurs and selling them. Like, we get it. You're a very transparent movie. It's not subtle at all. This film is beautifully directed, beautifully shot, and in service of a terrible story, which they make even worse by throwing in a revelation about Macy, a character I actually liked in the film, I related to in the film, and then they just throw this thing in where she's a clone. I'm like, what in the world are you actually doing to this franchise? Jurassic World Dominion is a gigantic piece of shit.
That is one big pile of shit.
I really want to go on an angry rant here as to why Jurassic World Dominion is a gigantic failure. And I kind of want to make a separate video on it. if I'm honest, because there's so many things I don't like about this movie. And you've never seen me this angry before. I realize this, but you have to understand here. This is one of my favorite movie franchises of all time. It has some of the most iconic moments in cinema. The first film is iconic. The second film is underrated. The third film is a fun dinosaur movie with some fantastic moments in there as well. And all of that is ruined by Jurassic World Dominion. A film about locusts. Locusts! A film about locusts! Fucking locusts! Are you crazy? Jurassic World Dominion is a gigantic failure. I love this Steelbook. I love the fact that they're all fitting together. And I like some of the moments in this film quite a bit, but it's just like a film about locusts. The biggest issue I have with Jurassic World Dominion, just to summarize it fairly quickly, if you take out dinosaurs in any of the other films, even in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, a film I have a disliking for that is hard to explain, even if you take out dinosaurs in Fallen Kingdom, right, the films wouldn't work. The stories wouldn't work. If you take out dinosaurs in Jurassic World Dominion, nothing would change. Nothing would change. Because what is this film about? Owen and Claire trying to get back Macy, their surrogate daughter, the clone girl from the last movie. Again, the dumbest idea from the last film gets expanded on in the sequel. We've seen it with Jurassic World and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. The dumbest idea from Jurassic World gets expanded on in Fallen Kingdom. They add to that another dumb idea, which is then expanded on in Dominion. Macy being a clone and being essential to fixing a locust problem. A locust problem. Not even a dinosaur problem. A locust problem. You bring back Alan Grant. You bring back Ellie Sattler. You bring back Ian Malcolm, right? You bring back those characters to fix a locust problem. Alan Grant, the dinosaur man. Let's send him on a quest to kill locusts. Are you high? You know, at the end of the day, these are just films. I realize this, and it doesn't really have a point to getting this worked up about a movie. But I would argue people were a lot more angry with this one, right? If people get angry at this film, then I'm allowed to get angry about Jurassic World Dominion. Again, my hatred is focused towards the film. I'm not particularly upset with the actors. I'm not even angry at the director. I mean, the man is he's working. He has a job. Good for him. Not a fan of his work. Let's just say that. I don't have anything against anyone involved with the making of this film. I just wish that they didn't make it the way they did. I just wish they just would have. There's fans of this franchise. They have been for 30 years. Just have one of them on board. The people making Jurassic World Dominion and Fallen Kingdom, for that matter, showcased a fundamental misunderstanding of why we love this franchise. It's not just about dinosaurs. Those are the icing on the cake. And the cake is a fantastically told story with fantastically directed action sequences. And it's an adventure, and we have character development there. Like, John Hammond is one of the greatest characters in cinema, and I'm not even exaggerating. The portrayal of that character, the character arc he goes through in the first film and the second film, the writing for that character, he's so complex, and he's such a fantastic character. And the fact that he is the villain of the first film, Jurassic Park 1. John Hammond is the villain. If Nedry was a content employee, None of this would have happened. Again, John Hammond having the illusion of control, not only over his park, but over his staff, is what bites him in the ass, and not willing to see the wrongs of his ways. And yet being a fantastic grandfather, a compassionate man, that is what saves him in the end. That is what saves his character in the end. Being compassionate for the people he loves and sacrificing what he thought he wanted. This park. John Hammond is one of the greatest villains in cinema history because he doesn't feel like one, or doesn't act like one. But he is. He is the villain of Jurassic Park 1. And they lose that in sequels. Like Fallen Kingdom, we have this villain who is so clearly a one-note type of villain, and there was opportunity to give him more depth, to give him more humanity, and to invoke a sense of compassion from the audience, and they just didn't fucking do that. I really want to make a separate video on why I dislike or even hate Jurassic World Dominion. But I'm gonna end the episode here. I'm just closing in on a half hour worth of footage for this video, which I thought was fitting for the ultimate collection for Jurassic World. Even the fact that it's called Jurassic World, the ultimate collection. I just call it Jurassic Park, please. But it is what it is. I love these steelbooks. I love some of these movies. There's actually only two I dislike or hate, and that's the last two I dislike. But the steelbooks look beautiful. And I don't know if I've talked about this in any of the other episodes. I don't think I have. I forgot to talk about it. But I also have this steelbook for Fallen Kingdom. I love this steelbook. It looks beautiful. I love the design of it. The Tyrannosaurus is majestic as hell. Yeah, I had to buy it just to put it on my wall. On my steelbook wall. It's right next to my first Jurassic World steelbook. Which, I'll showcase that as well. So this is the first Jurassic World Steelbook, which actually would fit nicely in this box as well, because the logo fits with the rest. I love the Steelbook. I like this film, so yeah. Look, I would argue that I have some credence or some freedom to talk about these films in a negative way if I want to, because I spent out of my ass for this collection, so I think that kind of warrants me talking about some of the things I dislike or even hate about these movies, which is fair game, I think. But let's just close this episode off. Thank you so much for watching all of these videos I've made in the past few days, depending on when I upload them. This is the ultimate collection, the 4K Steelbook collection for Jurassic World. Please check out my previous videos. I talk about The Thing by Titans of Cult. I talk about Top Gun Maverick Steelbook, and I talk about Edge of Tomorrow, a collector's edition. Also, I talk about The Wolf of Wall Street by Arrow Video. Beautiful 4K collector's edition release. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next episode of Blureel Series. You guys are awesome. What did you think about Jurassic World Dominion? What do you think about the steelbooks I showcased? And what did you think about this video? Let me know in the comment section below. I am keen to hear from you. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Ciao! Jurassic World Dominion, just, oh my god, dude. Why is it about locusts? In what world? In what world is that a good idea? And you make Dodgson the main villain? Dodgson! We have Dodgson here! See? Nobody cares.